Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we are going to sit down with the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jeffery Smith, and talk about his first year here and plans for the future. Welcome.
Well, thank you for the invitation, and we appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the show.
Well, I've been trying to get you here for a while, but you have been very busy your first year. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, hasn't it?
It has. I've certainly spent a lot of time engaging many of the stakeholders as a part of the transition, and so as you're aware, we spent a lot of time as a part of the Look, Listen, and Learn tour. We started that certainly in August, and so we have engaged over 1,000 stakeholders as part of the superintendent's transition plan, the Look, Listen, and Learn tour of Hampton. And so that has certainly led us to some wonderful places and great conversations.
Well, now, stakeholders is this term that government uses a lot. We use it in the city, and I don't know that the public always, you think stakeholders are parents or kids, but the way the school system defines it, it's the whole community.
Absolutely. It's the entire community. And so, we have certainly internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. And so the Look, Listen, and Learn tour, certainly we have been able to engage all of the stakeholders, staff members, the students, and family members, in terms of parents and members of the community at large, the business community.
See, I think people forget that aspect, that you guys are serving the business community as well, because you've got to prepare students for future jobs.
Absolutely.
And that's an important component, and how we all work together. You see that little circle about, students and workforce and business and economic growth that we need to be a healthy and vibrant city.
Absolutely.
So enough speech making, I'm sorry. What did you learn? Okay, if you can sum up, because you put a really intensive effort into that.
We did, and as I've said to others, I think it's important that when you transition to a new community, the work remains the same in terms of teaching and learning. Our core business is certainly that of teaching and learning, but it's important to understand the community. And so really we spent a lot of time hearing from the stakeholders and used the strategic plan, the school division's new strategic plan, to really guide that discussion. There were four essential questions that we raised. Number one, it was, where would you like to see Hampton City Schools in the next 3 years? What are some of those challenges in terms of meeting where we would like to go in the next 3 years? And please share that with me as the new superintendent. And then also we ask individuals, what are those wonderful things that we have already in place that will help us to get there? And then finally, as we engage the stakeholders, we said, share with us how might you, as a stakeholder, participate and partner with us in terms of where you would like to see Hampton City Schools in the next 3 years. And so those were the guiding questions, or the essential questions that we asked, and certainly used the strategic plan as the basis in the 6 focus areas. And then after the Look, Listen, and Learn tour, I had the opportunity to visit all of our schools and share with principals and staff members the report to the school board and the community, and then to really get from them additional information. And so it's been a wonderful process, and I think very beneficial, certainly for me as the new superintendent, it has been.
So the communities from your professional life, Williamsburg, Newport News, West Point, very different. Some similarities, and they're all in the same sort of geographic region. But
absolutely.
How is Hampton alike or different from the other places that you've served?
There are so many similarities in terms of when we look at what communities really want for young people. Obviously, throughout all of the communities that I have worked, I have heard over and over again to make certain that students are ready in terms of college, career, and certainly we say here in Hampton, college, career, and life ready. And so we want to set young people up for success, to ensure that they've had a wonderful experience with us, that we've provided them with an excellent education, that educational process has certainly been collaborative. But we also want to ensure that they're prepared for that next step, that post-secondary. And so very similar in terms of that regard.
Yeah, I think so. And one of the things I keep hearing is preparing students for things other than college. That a lot of times, especially with the very strict standards of learning and standardized testing program, kids get put on a track. But Hampton has a lot of workforce readiness, military readiness. I mean, there's lots of other things that kids today do after they graduate.
Absolutely, and I think when we really look at Hampton City Schools in terms of all that we offer, I would certainly share with you that there are so many opportunities for our young people to succeed and to do well, and support systems that are in place. Obviously, we've spent some time looking at our dual enrollment program, making certain that we provide young people with as many dual enrollment opportunities. And so as we build from places of strength, certainly that partnership with Thomas Nelson Community College is very important to us. Industry certifications and so forth. And as you're aware, as we move toward really expanding and transforming our high schools through the academies and working with forward next generational learning, I certainly believe that we'll continue to enhance those opportunities for young people. But the focus for us here, it's very clear to make certain that we enable students to be in a place where as they move forward, they have the essential skills and knowledge to be successful. And so we look at those stackable skills and credentials, and that's very important to us.
What are, and we'll get to the future and some of the good stuff in a minute, but what are the biggest challenges that that Hampton City Schools is facing right now?
Obviously, not unlike other school divisions, obviously we keep our eyes on the focus in terms of making certain that all of our schools are fully accredited. And so that's certainly a primary focus for us. And so some might see that as being a challenge. Certainly, for us, we're looking at our curriculum and the instructional delivery and the assessment programs that we have in place and the alignment of that to ensure that we have a very tight alignment. And so, in general, accreditation is always an opportunity for us.
It is a challenge. I mean, I've looked at the statistics of the percentages of kids in free and reduced price lunches in the schools that have not yet achieved accreditation or did, and then they changed the standards and changed the ball game. And it is almost always those schools where the percentages are very, very high. I mean, it is when you have kids who don't start kindergarten at the same level as other kids, figuring out, how to do that, how to bring them along, it's got to be a very tough job.
Yeah, but it's exciting.
It is exciting.
It's an exciting.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's exciting work, and obviously, I think that when we look at the continuum of learning, there are challenges all from various aspects of what we do, and so forth. So, in general, my typical response has been as we really look at making certain that we educate the whole child, and that we provide all young people with those opportunities, and that the expectations are the same, that we maintain high expectations and that we provide young people the support systems that they need in order to reach and to attain those particular goals. Because in reality, all parents and community members and alike in terms of staff want young people to do well, to succeed, and to be successful in life.
Well, and this might just be my perception, but I've heard it from a lot of people. I think one of the other challenges the school system faces is that there's a perception out there that it's not as good as some other school systems in the area. And, it's not been my experience. It's not been my kids' experience. I am so thrilled every year when City Council recognizes the valedictorians and salutatorians, when we have 3 Gates Millennium Scholars from one city in a year. But I mean, I don't know if you heard this on your Look, Listen, Learn tour, but there's a negative perception out there that is so hard to change.
And I'll tell you what I really heard. In essence, I heard members of the community say to me over and over again how they believe in our school system and their dreams and aspirations for Hampton City Schools. And I'm very excited about, building from those places of strength. And I will tell you that the support and the partnerships that really exist are just outstanding. And so, and I heard that over and over again, and I've said that to staff members, certainly on the Look, Listen, and Learn tour, and as I have traveled now with the faculty and staff meetings and so forth. And I've certainly shared with members of our community that I've heard the community at large say, we believe in you. And we believe in the great work that's going on, and we want to partner with you. And so we've talked about how to do that in what we consider to be in a very smart way, to have smart partnerships, to connect parents and community members to what I consider to be the real work.
Well, and this really is, you're leading us right into this discussion of the school system's future and this look at the academy approach. And,
Absolutely.
you know, I'm old. When I went through school, I wasn't necessarily thinking career-wise, but kids today have to be so laser focused on what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and how their learning connects with the real world. It's a different environment than when I went to school.
Yeah, it's very different. And, you know, I think about my own education and how it's different now. And we need to make certain that we're always preparing young people given the new set of opportunities that are out there. And so for Hampton City Schools, as you know, we have academies that are in place, and we're going to continue that work, but also to look at the workforce needs in terms of workforce development. And we're real happy with the relationship that we have in that regard, and looking at various pathways for young people. And whether that's in the health science area, whether we look at surgical technology, phlebotomy, radiology, you know, and to provide young people with those pathways so that they can really explore, but not only explore, I think what's really important, to provide them with mentorship and internship opportunities and even externship opportunities for our teachers. And so understanding the needs that exist in terms of workforce, making certain that we have a very close relationship and partnership, and to build from that, and to say to young people, here are the opportunities. Now share with us your interests, and based upon your interests, then we're in a better position to help facilitate that experience for them and so forth. So we're excited. Again, going back to the dual enrollment, you know, we think that certainly with the academies, wonderful opportunities there with dual enrollment and industry certification and so forth. So it's a very different world.
It really is.
It is.
You know, and I think that school systems used to prepare people to be grown-ups and prepare a certain amount to go to college, and the rest just had a general education, and you could learn your skills later, or, you know, there were just a bigger variety of opportunities.
Right.
And now you really have to be more prepared. And even a high school education, the unskilled jobs, the less skilled, are very much more technical than they used to be. And you just have to, I don't know how you do it. I mean, it's really cool to hear kids coming out of high school these days who have worked at the hospital doing X,
Absolutely.
Y, or Z through the partnership with Bethel. I mean, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at, you know, public you know, safety, and we're looking, certainly, you know, we have had conversations with Chief Salt, and very excited about an opportunity in terms of what we may be able to offer our young people in terms of pathways there, whether on the criminal justice side of the ledger, and looking at public safety in general. And so we're looking at so many different opportunities for young people and partners in the community. And I will tell you, a lot of excitement in that regard.
I think so. So one of the questions you asked during the Look, Listen, and Learn tour was, where do you want to see things in 3 years or 5 years? Have you got, and I notice you speak in we a lot. You never, not never say I, but you very much seem to be embodying that team approach. Is that fair to say?
It is, because in reality, you know, I've talked a lot to the staff about understanding our mission as a school division and the role that we all have, and that each member of the team, we have a role. And so we work in a very collective sense, and we collaborate together to make things happen. And so while I serve as a superintendent, I recognize the role of the superintendent in helping to lead and to make certain that we remain focused in terms of our vision and our mission and so forth. But we really get the work accomplished through members of the team and working together. And so it is very much a we.
Okay, so after your tour and after you've rolled out some stuff, what is that 3 to 5 year vision?
Well, obviously, we're excited, as you know, as we've talked about with the academies. And in 3 to 5 years, I certainly want to see Hampton very much like Nashville, that we are certainly a city where individuals will come and see the great work that we're doing in terms of our own academies here, and like Nashville, individuals go to Nashville to learn about the academies and what's going on there and the work that's going on. And I certainly anticipate that in 3 to 5 years, we will have individuals coming to Hampton and wanting to know and to understand the great work that we are doing as it relates to academies and so forth. So that's where I really would like to see Hampton City Schools in the next 3 to 5 years. And obviously there are individual goals as we focus on young people. I want to make certain that 100% of our students walk across the stage, but not only walk across the stage with a diploma in hand, but that they're college, career, and life ready.
And you guys have. I mean, Hampton City Schools has made huge strides on graduations. It isn't always on time graduations, but you guys have spent so much time picking up the kids who got a little bit lost on the path and then bringing them back on. I mean, to the point where we have the really awesome rates for graduation if you look beyond that 4-year period.
Absolutely, we do. And we have a task force in place now, really examining the work that we're doing and what are some of the opportunities to continue that work and to strengthen the work that we're doing in terms of whether it's on-time graduation or just graduation in general. Okay,
so if you were speaking to a family who, maybe it's a military family who's been transferred here, or someone who's gotten a job here and they're thinking, where do I want to live? And my decision is based on the school system because I have kids. Why do you tell them that they should consider Hampton, should choose Hampton?
Sure. I think that they should choose Hampton because in reality, the great work that's going on every day in our schools, we have very caring teachers and staff members who work with young people on a daily basis. The achievement that we have in terms of student achievement is outstanding. The support that we get from the community at large and their engagement is outstanding and wonderful. And so when you think of Hampton in terms of a place to live, I say, why not? It is the place to choose. And when you look at our educational system and all of the wonderful things that have transpired and what's going on in the plans for the future, it's a great place to be. And children will be successful here in Hampton. Our students are succeeding, doing well, and going forth and making their mark on life. And I'm proud of the work that has transpired, and I'm very excited about the work that's before us.
That sounds great. I can't add anything to that. Do you have anything else to say before we close?
No. I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I certainly look forward to the work that's ahead for us, and know that great things will continue to happen, and we will build from places of strength.
I would hope so, and I hope we can continue the conversation because some of our taxpayers don't understand how much education has changed since they were in schools. And I did want to throw in technology is a huge driver of that, and it is very expensive.
It is.
But it is absolutely crucial to education. And you guys recently were named, I'm unsure, but a technology award.
Absolutely. #1 in the nation in terms of the use of technology. And that award actually came through the National School Board Association. We are proud of that award and the accomplishment. And I think that's one more indication of the great work that's going on in Hampton City Schools.
It is. And I think also one of the things that I think Hampton does that some other school systems may not be quite as good at is the differentiation you can get based on where your child is, what his or her needs are, if they're at the top, if they have some special challenges,
That's right.
Whatever their career interest is. I mean, there's this huge differentiated instruction level and it's not kind of the cookie cutter, everybody is the same approach.
That is
and I really think that's one of our strengths.
It very much is, and choice, the opportunity
Yes.
within in the division.
To have some selection and some focus.
That's right.
That works for each individual child. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. I know that we all fund the school system, whether we have kids in it or not, and it's important to remember it is part of the reasons people choose to live in Hampton. It helps our workforce, and it is a huge part of our community. So those of you who don't have children currently, it's great to keep up with what's going on in our schools. Thanks for watching.